It's like, that's the go. So welcome everybody. I'm Sabrina Andrucci. I'm a coach, a mentor, intuitive, and strategist. I come from a long background in sales and marketing, and finally decided to actually honor myself and my true talent. And my true talent is people. This is what I'm good at doing. It's been there since I was in literally kindergarten. My report card would say, Sabrina is always the one taking the underdog under her wing. And that's what I did. And I've always been that kind of person that really deeply connects with people. I have a deep sense of knowing and understanding and a sort of almost instinct around people as well. And so that's something that I've kind of denied because it wasn't ever sport or music or academics or any other like really sort of mainstream talents. And finally coaching came past me. I mean, I don't know if that's right English, but clearly English was not my talent either. But coaching came into my life, and I thought this is something that I can really get into and really do. So Leandri, if you can just mute anybody that happens to mistakenly come unmuted, just so we can make sure our sound is perfect. So since then, what I've done in order to direct and change my career path is I went and certified with Marissa Peer. You may or may not be familiar with her, but she has created rapid transformational therapy, or RTT, which is a specific style of hypnotherapy. So I'm a certified RTT practitioner. I'm a certified hypnotherapist. I'm a certified NLP practitioner. I'm also a certified life and business coach and a long-time numerologist. So I just was like, let's just take all the talents, all the things, all the know-how and put them together. And I work with people in groups. I work with people one-on-one. And my core sort of person that I like to serve is what I call company leaders. Now, company leaders for me is people that own businesses. I think that's a given. But also people who hold companies. So maybe you work in a company and you have a leadership role within a company, but maybe you hold company within a community. Maybe, you know, you have an outreach program, or you have a knitting club or a book club, or maybe you're in a school environment, whatever it is, but you hold company and you find yourself in a leadership position in those company when in company with others. And for me, I believe that it's really important that if we can enable leaders within our society to truly embody that leadership skill and embody themselves as the true, deep, authentic power that they are, the ripple effect is so much bigger. And so that's why I feel if I can focus on company leaders in whatever way that makes sense to you, and I can help and guide you to be the best version of yourself, the impact that you make is just that much better and that much wider and that much bigger. And so what do I do with company leaders? I help them with things like lack of confidence, battling to reach and achieve goals, crippling anxiety, procrastination. Maybe it's money blocks, maybe it's people pleasing, maybe it's perfectionism. And I help and support you to overcome these blocks, overcome these limitations so that you can really thrive and serve. So that's what I do in a nutshell. And throughout these sessions as well, of course, if you ever at any time want to work with me on a more intimate level and you want to work with me one-on-one, if you reply to any of the emails I send you, it'll come straight into my inbox and I can send you info and details. If of course you find super value in this, please share it out into your communities. It's really important for me to offer this platform as an easily accessible place for you to come and to be your best self. So what are we doing today? So today is all about self-worth. And what I want the outcome of today to be is two things. One, remembering that you are worthy all along. It's not about learning that you're worthy. It's remembering that you are worthy and then reclaiming that and re-embodying that into yourself. And to give you a bit of a footing around why it is that so many people battle with self-worth, and it manifests in all of these things like people pleasing, perfectionism, procrastination, lack of confidence, not fulfilling your goals, etc., etc., etc. The reason is that when we come into this world as little small babies, we are effectively fully reliant on our caregivers. We're the only mammals on the planet. So it's like, this is like our little Achilles heel. Okay. So we're super advanced. We've got, all this phenomenal technology around us to support us. We stand on two legs. We have prefrontal cortex, which makes us intelligent. We can conceptualize and invent and create beautiful things. And then it takes us 7 years to get to any kind of able-bodiedness to take care of ourselves, where other mammals within a fairly short period are able to take care of themselves. So as humans, we're heavily reliant on our caregivers. And if we are at any time rejected by our caregiver, parents, mom and dad, granny, grandpa, whatever that may be, whoever the person is that is taking care of you, if we are rejected, we are rendered helpless. And if we are rendered helpless, that essentially can be fatal for us. So deep in our biology, it is vital for us to find connection with our caregivers. And that means that we may even adapt ourselves in order to ensure that we find connection with our parents and our caregivers. So let's say, and I mean, it's not done in any kind of malice from either party, our parents or us as children. And we have to keep in mind that this is also done through the view of a child's mind. So think back to you as like a 3, a 4, 5, a 6-year-old, and the concept that you have of the world. I always say kids have really big minds and very small worlds. So they super receptive to the environments. They're absorbing absolutely everything in like molecular degree, and they're taking everything. And we all know these stories of kids that say the darndest things, and it's literally like they absorbing through osmosis their whole environment, but they don't have the logic and understanding that mom and dad go to work and there's other people involved, and granny has a business and she's got other things going on, and big brother or big sister goes to school. That they might not quite conceptualize all of their environment. So what happens is we at school, and we get left at school and everyone else has gone home, and mom's stuck in traffic. She was called back at work. She's running late. She's frantic. She feels terrible as well as it is. But I don't understand that. I immediately go, I'm not loved. Mom is not here. There must be something wrong with me, because we also can't understand the whole process of what's happening. And immediately we turn that in on ourselves. It must be me. I need to make sure that I can adapt and change to ensure connection. So it must be something that I've done. Or mom arrives home from work, or dad arrives home from work. Let's not make it all mom's problem. So dad arrives home from work. He's on the phone and he's trying to get in the door, and I ran up, daddy, and I've got a picture and I want to show him, and he's like, he gives me the look, because we also know the look, like I'm on the phone, and suddenly I feel like, oh, my picture wasn't good enough, or what I did wasn't right, or what I did wasn't good. And we start to adapt, and we start to shave away parts of ourselves in order to ensure that we still maintain that connection. And again, I have to disclaim, it's not done in malice, and I'm giving very sort of high level, very generic examples of this just to explain so that you can understand what this means. But the point is that we get to a stage as an adult and we're not reliant on our parents anymore. We're not reliant on our caregivers, and yet we still hold the wounds of our childhood. We still people please. Now we've replaced dad with a boss. We've replaced mom with a partner. And then we have these certain expectations on these environments, and we find ourselves extremely trapped, and we're continuing the people pleasing patterns, and we're continuing the procrastination and the perfectionism and the lack of confidence and the whatever, the anxiety, the depression, the weight gain, the chronic backache, the insomnia. And it really can start to go quite far out. If you're really keen on getting deeper into this, I highly recommend the work of Gabor Mate. Astounding stuff and what he goes into. He's a physician. He's in his late 70s. He's done decades of work on this, and the link between the emotional body and how it manifests in the physical body, and how the suppression of emotions, especially anger, actually manifests in all kinds of things. His focus is around addiction, and it doesn't necessarily have to be any kind of like hectic addiction, because we have all kinds of addictions in our modern society. Social media can be an addiction, but it's a tool that we use as a numbing agent to try and sort of numb out that pain effectively. So if you want to get deeper into it, so we're going to change gears. Is there any questions? I'm totally open to. Janelle says his work has been eye-opening. Yeah. Gabor Mate. So any questions, you're welcome to pop them in the chat. Type his name, of course. So it's Gabor Mate with a little, let me see if I can, there we go. Oh, sorry, I just accidentally sent that only to Leandri, which does not help us, does that? No. Everyone. So all my effort of doing the little tick on the E, and then I'll send it to one person. Anyway, so we are going to do a hypnotherapy session today, which I'm really excited about. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about my story and how I came to hypnosis. I was battling with chronic back pain. I had tried everything. It was not releasing. I didn't know why. There was no direct injury to cause it. And I was suffering between back. I had also some stomach issues, which complicated it because I couldn't take any kind of anti-inflammatories or painkillers. And so I really sort of dove into this alternative route to try and find some kind of relief. And at the worst, I was working from bed, flat on my back with my laptop on my chest and sort of the screen tilted so that I could type. And it was embarrassing because I didn't want to be this person that constantly complained in pain. A lot of the times I would just grit and bear it. But it made me slow. It made me inactive. It made me really depressed at the absolute peak. And so at one of my routine weekly chiropractic adjustments, because that's where my life ended up, and there he is with his elbow jammed into my hip and his entire body weight, and he's like 6 foot something, my chiropractor, his entire body weight suspended on his elbow and jammed in. He very nonchalantly goes, I think this might be emotional and not physical. And I was just like, what the hell do you even mean? Like, what do you mean this is an emotional injury? And he put me in touch with a therapist, and I sat in the therapist's chair, and within 2 sessions, she goes, I think we should do hypnosis. And I said, absolutely no, you're not touching my brain. This is brainwashing. Like I don't want to know what's in there. I don't want to have repressed memories. Like, this is terrifying. I can't think of anything worse. And I went home and went to research and checked out Google and started a journey of self-hypnosis, where I realized very quickly that I'd actually done this before, not realizing that I'd done this before, and realizing that hypnosis is actually quite natural and a state that we go into quite frequently throughout the day. Needless to say, within 3 months, the pain had completely released. I have not had a recurrence of the back pain. I was weaned off the antidepressants and anti-anxiety medication that I was on. This was now 3.5 years ago. It totally changed my life. Obviously, I pursued a career in this, and I firmly believe in RTT specifically, but hypnotherapy as a tool to relieve all kinds of issues that we are experiencing in our day-to-day lives. And so I want to assure you that it is incredibly safe to do hypnosis. I know there's a lot of bad media around it. But the thing is, it's kind of like if we've got these programs that were installed when we were 6 and 7 and 8 years old, and we're now operating with these magnificent adult bodies that are so beautiful and so well developed, and our software is totally outdated. It's kind of like having the best computer hardware on the market, running it off like DOS, like Windows DOS. I don't know if I'm giving away an age, like an era here, but like it's, you know, even Windows 95, if you can't quite get to DOS, but like some really early version of it. That's what we're doing. We effectively disabling ourselves from the majesty that exists within us, because we hold ourselves tethered to these beliefs that were installed as a child and were relevant then, but they're no longer relevant. So what we do with hypnosis is we basically putting the conscious mind at ease, and we're accessing the subconscious mind. So what on earth does this even mean? So your brain has brainwaves. So we've all seen those things where they plug a whole lot of things onto people's heads. Again, I'm probably not going to use any majorly scientific language here. I'm just relaying this in a very layman term so that it's understandable. So they measure brain waves based on the frequencies that the brain emits. So your waking conscious brain, this is what makes us human. Our prefrontal cortex operates in what we call a beta brainwave. So that's where you are currently. You're listening to me, you're conscious, you thinking about what I'm saying, you're going, I agree with that. No, that sounds like BS, da, 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 da. That's your conscious brain. It's your critical brain. It is also the calorie consuming part of your brain. So that's why when you sit in front of a computer all day, you're flattened by 5 o'clock because you've used calories to think. Okay, but this part of your brain is limited because it has to utilize calories. It gets tired, it needs sleep, and it also can't process absolutely everything in our environment. So at any given time in your environment, there's potentially 40 to 60 million bits of data that could come through your 5 senses. So here we are, it's relatively quiet. You're watching a screen, it's me, maybe you've got gallery view, there's a couple of other faces, your brain's picking up some information there, you're hearing me, maybe there's someone else in the room, maybe you've got a radio on, maybe the window's open, there's a couple of other sounds, you got maybe a bit of perfume, the neighbor's cooking, you know, maybe you're drinking some coffee. So but there's limited things in your environment. Imagine now you're at a soccer game or a football game, and I'm going to use like an internationally, let's say Chelsea and Manchester United are playing. Okay, you're in the stadium. It is going berserk, screaming and colors and smells and sounds and tastes and everything and all of that coming at you. And if imagine you took in every molecule of that information, you would be in absolute overwhelm. So our prefrontal cortex filters our environment. It filters our environment to process, and it's actually quite insane. This is again the conundrum of the human development, because we are so advanced and yet so rudimental at the same time. It filters our environment to 7 bits of data per second. Okay, so you can only process 7 bits of data per second. So you know when suddenly you're interested in buying a new car and then everyone is driving that car, that's because your brain has gone, this is important. So now it's like a heat seeker. Or you learn something new and suddenly like everybody's talking about this thing that you just learned. It's the same thing. Or I was telling this to a client and she said, oh, like when you're pregnant and then everyone's pregnant. So it's the same kind of thing. Like the moment you are interested in something, suddenly your brain is focused on that. It's not that there's suddenly more pregnant women or suddenly the whole world is woken up to this concept that you just learned, or that everybody is now driving a Ferrari. It's just that your brain has identified that as priority information. So your beta is that 7 bits of data per second, but you've got a whole lot of other brain waves. Then we move into alpha. So alpha is when you are sort of automatically kicking into a programmed behavior. So think driving, okay? If you remember when you started learning to drive, it was very conscious, okay? There was a lot of hand-foot motion that had to be thought about very intensively. And now it's quite automatic. So you are actually utilizing a programmed part of your brain, which is the alpha brainwave. So if you think of anything you do automatically, if there's anything in your job that is very sort of systematic and you can do it almost without thinking, that is an alpha brainwave. We can get dressed without thinking. You can cook meals without thinking. So it's also that flow state. So when you really sort of like in the zone, you kind of just going and doing things. That is alpha. That is hypnosis. It's totally natural. We do it all the time. You want to be in that space because it takes the weight off of our prefrontal cortex. It alleviates that calorie consuming part. It's one of the better parts of our brain because it helps us to sort of get through life. Then we move into theta. Now, theta is where we are suggestible. So we've driven home from work. We've had work, lots of thinking, driven home from work, autopilot, arrived home, slumped in front of the TV. We are now suggestible. We are in theta. Theta is where we are impressioned with our environment. So why, when you're watching a movie, you're crying with the characters, you're laughing with the characters, you're falling in love with the characters, you're falling out of love with the characters, because you have this emotive connection, you're making that movie a reality, you are being impressioned, you are suggestible based on what's going on. That is also hypnosis. So you want to be aware of what you are impressing on your subconscious mind. You want to be conscious with what kind of music you listen to, what kind of TV you watch, social media as well. We are being programmed in a sense by what is happening in our environment. Then you eventually got through your binge watch season of whatever is popular at the time, and you pop into bed and you move into delta. Now, delta is sleep state. And when you go to sleep and wake up, again, you'll go delta, theta, alpha, beta. That's why some people might need a little bit more time to get awake in the morning. And then the other way around going to sleep. So it's beta, alpha, theta, delta. So this is supernatural. You're doing this all throughout the day, in and out of hypnosis, in and out of these different levels of brainwave. Okay. Hypnotherapy and hypnosis is now being intentional about what we actually impressing on our brains. We're wanting to figure out what is the program. Does that program still serve us? No, it doesn't. Okay, let's impress something else. Let's put something more valuable into our brains. Cool. So, are there any questions on the brain? I don't know if like questions or no questions is a good thing or a bad thing. Could be bad because maybe you don't understand. Could be good because maybe you understand really, really well. Okay, fabulous. So I'm going to show you just how incredible your mind is. You see, your mind is a genie. Your mind does exactly what it thinks you want it to do. And too often we allow our minds to control us, but it should be the other way around. So when you are doing something that feels uncomfortable, it's about telling your mind that you want the outcome beyond the discomfort. When you're feeling nervous, you're telling your mind, I'm excited. So you can control your mind. You can direct your mind. And so what I'm going to do is a little visualization. I'm not hypnotizing you just yet, so we can all relax. I will give you the go ahead when it's going to happen. So you are prepared. But I want you to just close your eyes for a second and just take a deep breath. And I want you to imagine in your left hand, you're holding a lemon, a beautiful, ripe, juicy yellow lemon. And you can almost start smelling that citrus scent that comes off that lemon. And in your right hand, if you're left-handed, you can switch the lemon into the other hand, but your dominant hand has a knife in it. and you're able to cut that lemon in half. And as you pierce through the skin, you can just smell that citrus, the citrus smell of the inside flesh of that lemon, and that beautiful citrusy scent of the rind of that lemon is just amplified. And you cut that half into half again, and now you've got this beautiful thick wedge quarter lemon. And I want you to bring your hand up to your face, holding that beautiful succulent wedge of lemon. And I want you to press that lemon into your mouth and feel all those sour juices squirt onto your tongue. And you should immediately start to notice the salivating happening in your mouth and the puckering of your lips. And I can actually see that happening. Okay, you can all relax. So that is the power of your mind. Okay, nobody here had a lemon in their hand, unless you're really an overachiever and you went and got one. But I'm assuming nobody had a lemon in their hand. So your mind filled in all the gaps. And you had a physical reaction in your body based on an imagination. And that is the power of our minds. And if you can harness and tap into that, I mean, that is just, you're unstoppable, really, absolutely unstoppable. So what we're doing here today is we're taking away those limiting beliefs of I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, I'm not okay, I can't do this, I'm not lovable, whatever it is. We're sweeping all of that stuff away, and we're reminding you, no, you are worthy, you are phenomenal, you are incredible. And we're going to see that physiological change within your body. So I had sent you an email just with some tips on how to prepare your space. So I just want to make sure everybody's comfortable. If you want to lie down, you're welcome to lie down. You're welcome to have your cameras on or off. It's entirely up to you. But please make sure your back is supported, however you are sitting or lying. Just make sure your back is supported, and just make sure you're not going to like slide off anything. I want you to feel like you can properly relax and let go and allow this experience to happen to you. If it is close to nighttime, put on a light just so that you're not a little bit like disturbed when you wake up. Switch off any blinking, singing, humming, any of those things, emails, etc., etc. You might want some tissues. You might want some water. Make sure everything's plugged in so we don't lose you at any given time. Just on that, if you happen to lose connection and it suddenly just goes quiet, you're not going to be stuck in hypnosis. You can quite easily open your eyes. I do not have any control over you, unfortunately, because then I would have made you empty your bank accounts into my bank account, but I didn't do that. So I can't control your mind. You are completely in control of your own free will. So I can't make you do anything you don't want to do. I'm simply facilitating a process for you. I'm guiding you to something. I also want you to allow whatever comes up to come up. Don't judge it. Don't try and analyze it. Let the conscious mind go. It's worked. It's done a lot of work. You want to hear. You want to really connect with the subconscious. We are going to be doing some visualizations and scenes could be anything from memories you remember, memories you don't remember. They could be metaphors, so it might not even be anything. It could just be, you know, I'm running through a field, and whatever that means, kind of like a dream. It could be a scene that's very the same. So I've had a scene, for argument's sake, driving to school. It wasn't any particular day. It was just a scene of driving to school. I also want you to remind you that we're not reliving any of these. We are just reviewing the scenes. You are simply looking at these scenes like detectives. You are not in the scene. You might feel a little bit emotional. It's totally fine. In fact, let the tears come. It's really good for releasing. But we're not reliving the scenes at all. We're simply reviewing them. We're simply understanding them. Marissa Peer, she's got a hell of a good sense of humor, and she always says, imagine the best orgasm you've ever had in your life. You cannot relive it. You can only remember it. So the same applies in this state. We can't relive the scenes. We can only remember them, and that's all we're doing. We're just recalling them, having a look at them. But you are totally safe here with me. If anything feels a little bit overwhelming, you can just open your eyes. But I encourage you to allow yourself to let this process happen, let this process run. You will get the benefit out of it. I think I've got a few people here who've done it with me as well, so I'm sure they can also attest to that. Any final questions, any final thoughts, any final some things that you want to just ask to be sure? And if not, then we are ready to experience hypnosis. I don't see anything in the chat. Beautiful. Okay, everyone's rearing to go. I love this. All right. So get comfortable, sit back, relax. Take a few deep breaths in and out. Just centering yourself, bringing yourself into this room. Feeling comfortable, feeling secure, feeling safe. You're here, you're safe, you're with me, and everything is good. And cross your arms and legs. Allow your body to completely let go. And now with your eyes open. So open your eyes. If your eyes have been closed, open your eyes. Keep your face forward. And I want you to roll your eyeballs up. Look up with your eyeballs as if you're looking into your eyebrows, as if you're looking into your brain, as if you're looking up to the heavens. Roll your eyeballs up as high as you possibly can. And what this does is it's pushing your brain into an alpha brainwave. And you might find that you're even blinking, and that's perfect. That blinking is just hypnosis coming upon you. And take a deep breath in. And breathe out. And you might feel a slight strain on your eyes. No problem. Keep your eyeballs up. Take another deep breath in. And breathe out. And just let go as you breathe out. And one more time, keeping your eyeballs rolled and glued to that spot above you. Take a deep breath in. And this time, as you breathe out, close your eyelids down while keeping your eyeballs rolled up, feeling a fluttering sensation. And that fluttering sensation is rapid eye movement, inducing an alpha and theta brainwave. This is a rapid induction. And now just relax your eyeballs right down. Close your eyelids and feel that your eyelids are actually glued shut, sealed shut, and locked together. And the harder you try and open your eyes, the more they feel glued shut, sealed shut, locked together. And now relax your neck down. Just allow your neck to relax down as if you're looking down a set of stairs in front of you, 10 steps. That's perfect. And in your mind's eye, imagine 10 stairs leading down in front of you. And these 10 stairs are well lit. They're very stable, very sturdy. And in fact, there's even a railing down the side. And you're going to go down these 10 stairs. And each step that you take, as I count down, and I'll guide you down these stairs, with every step, you go deeper and deeper into hypnosis. With every step, you're letting go more and more. With every step, you're going deeper into an awareness of yourself. And so moving on to step 10, as each muscle, every nerve and every fiber in your body just turns loose, lets loose, and you go deeper, moving on to step 9, as you feel your body relaxing, letting go, feeling safe, feeling secure. Moving on to step 8, as you see your feet, hear your feet, and even feel your feet treading each and every step as you go deeper and deeper, moving on to step 7. As you drift down, travel down, going down deeper and deeper as you move down, moving on to step 6. And as you move on to step 6, you can see your feet, hear your feet, feel your feet moving down each step as you feel yourself going more and more, deeper and deeper into the most beautiful, safe, healing space of hypnosis, moving on to step 5 now. And then any sound, any noise, any movement around you just takes you deeper and deeper into hypnosis as you move on to step 4, drifting down, traveling down, floating down, going deeper and deeper and deeper into hypnosis. as every muscle, every nerve, every fiber, every tendon in your body just lets loose, turns loose, and you go deeper. Moving down deeper and deeper as you take step 3, as the sound of your own heartbeat takes you deeper and deeper. And now you're moving on to step 2 as you travel down, drift down, going deeper and deeper. And finally, now you're arriving at step 1 as you gently, calmly, easily move on to an even deeper level. And just let yourself go deeper, drift deeper, sink deeper. And every time I click my fingers like this and say the word deeper, you find yourself becoming more and more relaxed. So just drift deeper, go deeper, sink deeper. Deeper just means going deeper into an awareness of yourself. So just go deeper, sink deeper, drift deeper. You're going 10 times deeper now and 100 times deeper, drifting way down deep. Imagine now your eyes have been glued shut, sealed shut, locked together. And the harder you try and open your eyes, the more they feel absolutely locked tight. So just try and open your eyes and find they're locked shut and go deeper. And try and open your eyes again and find they're glued shut and go deeper. And try to open your eyes just one more time. Find they're fused together, sealed together, glued together, welded together, and go deeper and deeper, at least 50 times deeper. And that's wonderful. You're doing a perfect job. You are responding beautifully. And you see now, hypnosis is not about being asleep. Hypnosis is about being suggestible. And I already know that you are highly suggestible and that hypnosis will have a phenomenal, wonderful, and transformational effect on you, because being suggestible is a phenomenal thing, in fact, especially when you know that you are, because being suggestible means that you can easily change your mind to what it is that you want. And up until now, you've been responding to the suggestions of others and the suggestions of your own subconscious mind that have not been serving you. And many of the suggestions from others are outdated and are holding you back and maybe even hurting you and making your life unhappy. But when you know this, you can change the suggestions that are no longer serving you, and instead you can give yourself powerful, transformative suggestions that give you exactly what it is that you want. And you see, understanding is power. And understanding in hypnosis is the most phenomenal and transforming power. And today we're going to shed light on this by doing some detective work together to uncover these suggestions and discover the root of what has been causing you to believe that you're not worthy. What has been causing you to believe that you're not good enough, what has been causing you to believe that you're not okay. But I'm first going to demonstrate to you just how suggestible you are. And so what I want you to do is lift up the hand that you write with, the dominant hand. Lift up your dominant hand, physically lift it up and bring it over, reach over to your opposite shoulder and grab onto the opposite shoulder and hold onto that shoulder firmly. And your hand is now glued, sealed, locked, fixed, cemented to your shoulder. And the harder you try and move your hand, you find that your hand is stuck, fixed, locked, glued, sealed, welded, and cemented to your shoulder. In fact, try and lift up your fingers and try and lift up your palm. And either your fingers or your palm is rooted to your shoulder, or both are even rooted to your shoulder. Your hand and your fingers are rooted to your shoulder, and feel your fingers and your palm rooting, cementing, becoming more and more stuck to your shoulder. Your hand, your palm, your fingers, maybe even your wrist are literally fused to your shoulder. It's as if they've been welded together. And try and move your hand off your shoulder, and you can see that even if you try and lift your fingers or try and lift your palm off your shoulder, they're absolutely stuck. And even if you manage to move it slightly, your hand is definitely heavier, and this is much harder than you ever anticipated. In fact, it becomes more and more stiff the harder you try. So I'm going to count back from 3 to 1 and snap my fingers. And the moment you hear my fingers snap, your hand, your palm, and fingers will release easily, effortlessly, and drop right into your lap. 3, 2, 1. Your hand is released. Your fingers and palm let go of your shoulder and drop easily into your lap. That's perfect. Now, what is so fascinating about this is that we just discovered how easily you were able to get unstuck. This showed you that your hand was only stuck to your shoulder because you believed that you were stuck. And what this means is that it is as easy as changing your mind to become unstuck. And that is powerful. And so just rock your head gently from side to side. You see the neck muscles are the first to tighten and the last to relax. And you feel just how relaxed your neck muscles are. And this shows that you're in a perfect state of hypnosis and you're feeling totally relaxed and calm and safe. And as I click my fingers, you just drift even deeper and deeper into relaxation. And so just allow this drifting, floating feeling to continue as you go deeper now. You're aware of everything, yet you're not aware. You're listening now with your subconscious mind, and your conscious mind is drifting further and further away. And you have so much potential in your conscious mind, and you're allowing your subconscious mind to listen to everything and take it in. While your conscious mind can just easily, effortlessly drift away and just let yourself go deeper. Just allow yourself to drift deeper, go deeper, sink deeper into an awareness of yourself. And now you find yourself in this beautiful, relaxed state. And as I count back, you are going to go back right now to a beautiful scene of you when you were just born. You are going to go back safely and effortlessly to seeing yourself as a tiny, beautiful, perfect little newborn baby full of potential. And as that beautiful, sweet, shiny new you, you are born with the belief that you can do anything and that you can ask for anything that you want and need. And you were born with this inner sense of worth, this knowing and this promise, this potential active and alive within you. So now, on the count of 5, you're drifting back to a vivid, vital memory, a crucial, significant scene, all to do with when you were a newborn baby, a tiny little one who had not been on the planet for very long. And on the count of 4, you're drifting back, way back, to being this tiny, perfect, beautiful little baby full of potential. On the count of 3, years, days, weeks, months are just peeling away from your body as you go right back, way back to a vivid, vital, crucial, absolutely significant scene as you, as a baby, a newborn baby with the belief that you can be and do and have anything that you want. And on the count of 2, you're becoming smaller, lighter, shorter, drifting back, way back to being a tiny baby with an inner knowing and a sense of self-worth. And on the count of 1, just be there. As I click my fingers, this scene is coming to you easily, effortlessly, automatically, like a notification popping up on your mobile phone. The picture is there. The scene is opening up, it's becoming bigger and wider, and you see yourself right there in the middle of the scene. The scene is you as this precious, beautiful, tiny newborn baby. You are a baby, and you believe, like all babies ever born, that you are a fascinating, gorgeous, intelligent, amazing. You know with absolute conviction and certainty that all your needs will be met because you've just come from inside the womb. You came from inside the womb where all your needs were met. While you were in the womb, you had on-call room service. All your needs were met every second of every day or night. Every need you had, warmth, safety, protection, nourishment, connection, love, it was all there. You were connected intimately with someone else, and they were connected intimately with you. And now that you've come onto this planet and left the womb, You still very much believe that all your needs will be met. If you want food, you believe that food will be there. If you want connection, someone will be there. If you want warmth, you'll be held. If you need protection, you cry out, and someone is there to care for you, to hold you, to nourish you, to look after you. And you get smiles and praise and applause for everything you do. And people come from everywhere to see you and to hold you and to love you. And you even know that when you say your first words, everyone thinks you're a genius. And you feel like the center of the universe. You don't need to worry about not getting your needs met because you know that whatever you need is available to you. And at this early age, you know that you are worthy. You know that you are enough. You know that you are okay. And this voice within you tells you that everything you want and need is available to you. You know that you're enough, just the way that you are. There is absolutely no need for you to ever worry or even consider changing anything about yourself because you know you're worthy of love. And you had these beliefs at a very early age. You believed that you belonged. You believed and you knew that you were connected. When you were this tiny baby, you had all these wonderful beliefs about yourself and about the world. You believed so much in your potential and your ability. And I'll explain to you exactly. When you were learning to eat, you didn't quit if you got the spoon in your hair or in your ear or on your eye. You never thought there was something wrong with you because you had more food in your hair and on your cheeks and on the floor than in your mouth. You never berated yourself. You didn't feel inadequate. Instead, you believed in yourself. And this inner voice kept spurring you on. It never even occurred to you that you could fail or that you wouldn't be able to accomplish what you'd set your mind to. When you were learning to walk, you fell many, many, many times, but you never gave up. You looked at your caregivers and you knew if they can do it, I can do it too. And you got back up over and over again and you kept trying. And you never worried or felt bad about yourself. You never thought to yourself that there was no way you'd ever be able to learn to walk, even when you kept falling down. Instead, you got back up over and over again because you knew that you would succeed. You knew that you were amazing. You knew that you were full of potential. You celebrated your life as a baby. You celebrated yourself and your potential. You knew that you were worthy of attention. You, at no point did you say, oh God, don't look at me. My nappy is full of poo. Please don't look at me. You smiled and giggled when people looked into the pram. You wriggled your little legs and your eyes got big. And you loved getting attention. You loved getting compliments. You knew that you were deserving of it. And you believed that you were deserving of celebration. And so now realizing that this is what you believed when you were a little baby, how, why, when, and where did these beliefs change? And so we're going to go safely back and discover this together. We're going to go like detectives, reviewing evidence to solve the case, like doctors diagnosing symptoms. We're going to find the root cause for the best treatment. Together, we're going to go and gather information. And remember, like a detective will review photographs or a doctor will review test results, we are simply reviewing whatever comes up. You'll see this like a movie on a screen where you can review this information from a safe distance. You're looking at these moments, these memories, these events, these scenes with the intention of noticing patterns and seeing evidence and finding connections to solve the case, to diagnose the cause and prescribe best treatment. And you're going to go back now and meet your inner critic so you can understand how, why, and when your sense of self-worth became overshadowed with this negative self-talk, this belief that you're unworthy. And so I want you to imagine that you can turn your eyes inwards. You can go inside your body and you can find the part of you that is the inner critic. Find this part of you that is somewhere in your body that has overshadowed the sense of self-worth. And it's quite simple. You don't have to do anything in particular. You're just imagining that you've gone inside, you're still yourself, but you found this part of yourself that came up with this inner critic. Because this inner critic believes that it has a useful role, function, purpose, and intention. And now you may have located this part, and it can be anywhere in your body. Maybe it's in your throat or in your chest or in your stomach or in your hips. It could really be anywhere. Just trust whatever comes up. Trust whatever comes up. And I'm going to ask you a few questions, and you immediately know the answer. And if you're still trying to find this part, don't worry. Just simply trust the answer to these questions. The first question is, what color is this part that is your inner critic? And you know the answer immediately. And now I'm going to ask, what shape is this part? And you know the answer immediately. And now I ask, what texture is this part? And you know the answer immediately. And now I'm going to ask, what is this part's name? And you know this answer immediately. And if you don't have everyone, it's fine. Take the information that came to you and allow this information to come to you easily, effortlessly, automatically. You've got a very clear picture of this part. You know where it is, you know the color, shape, texture, and what its name is. You have some sort of identifier. And you'll probably find even that your inner critic doesn't have any trouble answering these questions because it always has something to say. But now we want to know more about the inner critic itself and less about what it thinks about you. And so just for a moment, we're going to give the inner critic a voice. And it may even use your voice. And just for now, so that we can understand when, where, and why it came into your life. Once we understand why, where, and when it came about, we can understand how to let it go. And you see, understanding in hypnosis is so powerful and transformative, because then we can decide whether we still need this. Is it still relevant? And so we're going to ask the inner critic 3 powerful and important questions. When it came about, what was going on at the time, and whose voice or words is it mimicking? And so you're going to switch places now with the inner critic. I'm going to count from 1 to 3, and then you'll switch places with the inner critic and refer to yourself by name and in the third person. And use your voice, and I encourage you to speak out loud as well. Give this critic a voice. Let it say what it needs to say, because we are listening. And so here we go on the count of 3. Your inner critic will have a voice to answer 3 of the most freeing questions. 1, 2, 3. Right, inner critic, you now have a voice. And I have 3 very important questions to ask of you. And as I ask these questions, the answers will come immediately. And I want you to please say these questions, say the answers to these questions out loud so that we can all hear them. I want you to answer for me, please, inner critic, and say out loud, at what age did you first come about? As I click my fingers, you know the answer. A number easily, effortlessly comes to your mind, out of your lips. You know exactly how old you were when the inner critic first came about. And okay, I want you to tell me now what was going on when you decided to intervene. And as I click my fingers, you know the answer. And this may be in the form of a scene. It may be in the form of a memory. It may be in the form of a metaphor. But you can remember and recall exactly what was going on at the time when this inner critic decided to intervene because it believed that it had a relevant role, purpose, function, and intention. And now, inner critic, I'm going to ask you, whose voice or words do you mimic? And you know this answer immediately. And in your mind pops the person or the words or the voice that you mimic in your mind that is not yours, that is someone else's. And I say thank you very much to the inner critic. You've been incredibly valuable. And now switch places, going back to being who you are today. And the information you received probably showed you that you were just a little child when this inner critic came about. And if you didn't have a clear scene, you certainly had a feeling of what that feeling came in your body. You were just a sweet child. You were a lot younger than you are right now. And something made your inner self-belief and self-worth become quiet and small and silent. And you were young, probably even too young to understand. And so you made an assumption. And you made an assumption about yourself that probably went something like, I'm not okay, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not enough, or I'm not worthy. And you can really feel that feeling of that little person inside of you. And you can see and understand and recognize that that feeling made sense to that little child at the time, but probably doesn't make sense to you anymore, but it might even be holding you back. You were just a little child, and from that child's perspective, you decided that for the rest of your life, I'm not worthy. I can't get my needs met. I'm not worthy of getting my needs met. For the rest of my life, I'm not worthy, and you believed it. You believed that it would always be like that. And you see, when you were a little child, that felt so true. It felt true because you lived in a world of feelings, and you tap into that feeling. And you may even recognize that feeling when your boss or your partner or somebody else says something about you. That same feeling comes up for you. And you start to learn that your job is now to make other people happy, that you must live to please others and make them happy. And in some way, you almost feel helpless and powerless. And you begin to learn that you're helpless. And so you experience learned helplessness. You want to be better, but you can't. You want to fix things, but you can't. You're too small. You don't have the resources that you had then. You learn that you have to fix things. You have to be different. You have to be what they want you to be. You have to live up to their expectations, but you can't. And you learn that you need to be something more than you are, but you can't. And this is a time perhaps when you thought that you need to be a good kid or a perfect kid, and you must be good at everything or else you're a disappointment. And you try to be better and to change and to make others happy, but you just can't. And you learn to feel helpless. And you learn that you have to now meet everyone else's expectations, but you can't. And you learn this belief that you can't meet other people's needs, and your needs are not being met either. And so you feel like you're not okay, that you're not enough, that you're not good enough, that you're not worthy. And now you can't connect because you think you're a disappointment to people and you might make them angry or not love you, or that you don't deserve what you want. Okay. So let that scene clear away as if it's been wiped off like a chalkboard, and you can take a deep breath and just release all those feelings from your body now. You can release all those feelings from your body, and you see, understanding that these decisions were made when you were very little gives you the opportunity now as the beautiful, phenomenal, powerful, amazing adult that you are, that you can now change these beliefs because they're not relevant anymore. And we're going to change them right now in this moment. And so reviewing that scene and the answers that the critic gave you, what has that caused you to believe about yourself now? What do you understand now about that, what that inner critic has made you believe about yourself? And it could be something like, I must be quiet, or I must do what others say, or I can't be myself, or I must be what they want me to be, or I must be perfect, or I can't do anything right, so I might as well not try, or I'm different to others, or I'm not okay, I'm not enough, I'm not worthy. What did that inner critic cause you to believe about yourself? I'm just giving you a moment to allow that answer to come to you. And now I ask, do you need these beliefs anymore? Do you need to believe that anymore? Would you rather remember that you are okay? Would you rather think that you are enough? Would you rather believe that you are good enough? Would you rather feel that you are worthy? Would you rather act and behave with self-belief? So I imagine you've answered yes to those questions. And now I want you to go back to that first moment your inner critic came about right now in your mind. I want you to see that little child. And if you didn't have a scene, just think of that feeling. And you remember now you're no longer that little child. That little child had to make decisions about themselves and about the world that was from their perspective. But you are now a beautiful, handsome, talented, self-sufficient, independent, resourceful, powerful adult. And you no longer need to believe those thoughts because those are in the past and they aren't relevant to you anymore. And I want you now to see the truth of what happened to that little child, to silence the inner voice of self-worth that was once inside of you. And I want you to really see that that child is not you anymore. And you can see the truth. It is not you. And I want you to say out loud and with conviction, and I really urge you to say this out loud. It's not me because, and finish that sentence. And allow the first thing that comes out to mind. First thing that comes to your mind to finish that sentence. It's not me because. And it's also not me because. Don't overthink it. Don't hold yourself back. Just repeat the sentence and finish it. And it will never be me again for the rest of my life because. And I know this because, and finish that sentence. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I'm so proud of you. This is phenomenal work. You see, it's not you anymore because your brilliant, talented, smart, lovable, intelligent self is an adult now. You can take care of yourself. You have your own space. You have your own home. You can dress yourself. You earn your own money. And as the phenomenal adult that you are, you're able to do whatever it is that you want to do. You are no longer that little kid. You are no longer helpless. You are grown. You are an adult. You can make decisions. You can go to bed whenever you want to. You can eat whatever you want to eat. You can be friends with whoever you want to be friends with. You can enjoy your life and make it whatever it is that you want it to be. You can drive a car. You can spend your money on whatever you want. You can make your own decisions, and you love that about being an adult. It's amazing to be an adult. We have so much available to us as adults. And now that you know what happened, now that you have an understanding, you can bring that inner voice of self-belief, that inner knowing of self-worth back. And we can get rid of the inner critic completely that is holding you back. And so I want you to see now that worthy enough, deserving self that once resided so strongly within you. See that version of yourself hovering just above your head, waiting for you to allow them back in. And now feel that worthy enough, deserving self dropping down, descending down, inch by inch, coming into your body, literally merging with you, taking up residence into you once again, taking up space in your heart and in your mind, moving into your body. You can feel your cells, every strand of DNA, every fiber, bone, muscle, tendon becoming worthy, feeling deserving, knowing that you are enough. Every thought, every feeling, every emotion, every belief is aligning to this. You are enough. You are worthy. You are deserving. You believe in yourself and your abilities. And just feel those feelings now in your body, pushing out any thoughts that inner critic used to have, because that is not true anymore. And as this inner self-worth starts to infuse into every cell, every part of your being, every strand of DNA, it just spits out any thoughts of that inner critic. And you completely and utterly and totally align and believe in yourself, and you remember everything about you that is worthy and deserving. You feel what it feels like to be deserving. You feel what it feels like to have everything that you want. You feel what it feels like to do everything that you want, because you can do that. You feel what it feels like knowing that you believe in yourself, that you are worthy, that you are enough, that you are deserving. And I want you to feel these feelings now in your body. Allow these feelings to intensify. Let these feelings become bigger, filling up every part of you right now, to the tips of your fingers, down to the tips of your toes, spilling out from the top of your head, flowing over your skin even. And see what color this feeling is. What color does self-worth feel like to you? What texture is this feeling of self-worth, self-belief, deservingness? What is that smell that it has? Let's engage all your senses. See that color, smell that smell, feel that texture. Does it have a taste? How does it taste? What does it sound like? And remember this feeling and the way that it feels, and the color and the sound and the smell and the taste. And anytime you think of this color, your body remembers this feeling. Anytime you sense this texture, your body remembers this feeling. We are anchoring this feeling in now, and you can call upon these anchors at any given time that you need to. Remembering the smells, remembering the tastes, remembering the color. Anytime you smell the smell, your body remembers this feeling. Think of a smell you love and enjoy and can expose yourself to on a regular basis. Anytime you taste this taste, your body remembers this feeling. And anytime you hear the sound, maybe it's a song, maybe it's a bird chirping, your body remembers this feeling of self-belief, this feeling of self-worth. And now once again, you can see your life through the eyes of your worthy self. Your worthy self's job is to encourage you every minute of every day and night. And you hear great things about yourself. Your worthy self's job is to believe in you 24/7. And that worthy self is installed into you right now, becoming you. And you are becoming your worthy self. And this worthy self is part of you once again. And this self-belief will now tell you from now on and from forever what you can accomplish. And you know that you can accomplish everything. And you hear that inner cheerleader, that sound, just that inner cheerleader voice just becoming louder and louder and louder, spurring you on, cheering you on, telling you how wonderful, phenomenal, incredible, powerful, resourceful, beautiful you are, how worthy you are. Hear that voice becoming louder and louder, 10 times louder. In fact, 10 times louder and bolder than that inner critic ever was. This inner self-worth has nothing on that inner critic. And I want you now to tell this inner voice of self-belief what you want it to tell you about your future so that it can remind you and tell you. What do you want it to tell you? I'm powerful. I'm phenomenal. I'm amazing. I'm beautiful. I'm successful. I'm a money-making magnet. I'm a love machine, whatever it is. Get it to tell you what you needed to tell you, and tell it what you needed to hear from it about your future, about your relationships, about your health. I'm a fat burning machine if you want to lose weight. I'm a muscle making machine if you want to build muscle. Tell that inner voice of self-belief, that inner cheerleader, what it is that you want it to say to you. Install the words and the beliefs and the language that you want. Yeah, amazing. Amazing, amazing. And just hear that voice getting louder and louder, 10 times louder, 20 times louder, as it speaks louder and crisper and sharper than that critic ever did. There's no better voice than the voice that you are installing right now. And you can call on this voice at any given time. You can call on this feeling at any given time. With your color, smell, taste, touch, and hear, anchor. You can bring those in at any given time. And I want you to remember that from now on, you have the self-belief installed within you. It's always been there and you've simply remembered it. And it goes with you and it cheers you on and it praises you and it uplifts you and encourages you and it spurs you on to success. And there is nothing you cannot do. You have all the resources that you need at your fingertips. You're an adult. You can find the answers if you need the answers. We live in a world now that has more accessibility to information than ever before. You are enough, you are worthy, you believe in yourself, and you deserve everything that you want. And so, feeling wonderful, feeling amazing, feeling free, feeling fabulously worthy as I count you back to your full awareness. With each number, you'll become more and more aware of your surroundings. On the count of 1, you're becoming more aware of your fabulous body, feeling your fingers and toes, your adult body that can move about, that can make anything happen. On the count of 2, you're aware of the room and sounds around you, the room and space that is yours, that you've created. On the counts of 3 and 4, take a deep breath in and fill up your beautiful, powerful lungs. And on the count of 5, open your eyes, feeling wonderful, feeling amazing, feeling free, coming back to full awareness. Open your eyes. Welcome back in the room once again. That was absolutely perfect. Hello, welcome back. How was that? So I'm going to stop the recording, and if you would like to turn on your cameras, and you're welcome to unmute if you want to tell me how you're doing and how you're going.